Dispatch Knives has in no way paid for this video. What they did was send me these knives to review. What I'm also going to do is compare and contrast the Dispatch knives with one of my knives that I know, and so that I can give you guys a good idea and that you guys know. So, and we'll discuss basically general purpose. So I'll talk about the knife itself, details, and what you guys can look for. Now, regardless of whether you like Dispatch knives or not, this is going to be a really good video for you guys to learn a tremendous amount of information about knives, so stay tuned. This right here is what would be considered a modern fighting knife, or something that they make, generally speaking, for a military role, but could be used for a variety of tasks. Because it's a Tanto style blade, it has some strengths and weaknesses. The Tanto style blade is not necessarily great for bushcraft. It's specifically, really, this is a Tanto chisel point, so it's really only good for military type roles, stabbing, puncturing, maybe like it's good at puncturing through light metal, or like a thin metal on a car. It could go through that and really not have a huge problem. This is kind of a similar style that we do to the reverse striking tip of our tomahawks, but I really don't see a lot of use for this type of tip on a knife other than it looks cool. So one of the really big things with why they probably do this is that it looks cool. Now, balance is good on this knife, and it has this strange thing on the front here, which really I don't see any positive effect other than adding a little bit of material for balance. So maybe that's a good thing, but what you don't generally want is a narrower section here than you have here. In this case, it might not be a big deal because there's a false grind on the top here. The knife is not very sharp to speak of. It's a production knife, and so I will discuss a little bit the differences between what you get from a production knife and what you get from a custom knife as well. A knife like what you get from Bone Tacticals, custom handmade, and something like this is production. It says China on it, so you know it was made in China. There's there's not a good gap here within the spine. It has like the fit and finish is not good of the handles. The handle's a little bit bigger than the knife itself, which you want really the opposite of that. And so what you'll get on a Bone Tactical knife is what you're paying for, the difference, because this knife is like 5 times more expensive than this knife. What you get is a knife that's probably 10 times sharper. You get a better design, right? The handle scales are custom fitted, each handle scale to each knife, and so not only that, but you have ridges here, so your hand actually grips onto the part that's most important, which is this right here. The front and the back, you have a grip section as well there. On this knife, you have a little cutout of the G10 here, and really not much of a grip. Both knives feature the fighting guard, but the Bone Tactical knife has an ergonomical fighting guard, and this has a fighting guard that looks cool. The sheaths, in this case, this Kydex sheath is actually very good. It's a very good Kydex sheath. It's easy to make Kydex sheaths with advanced technology and having, you know, CNC machines and stuff like that. So the Kydex sheath is good in this case. They did a great job with that. It has a cool Tech-Lock M-Lock accessory that comes with it. It's got hardware. Everything's going to rust on here though. And so one of the things that we use personally on our sheaths is we use bronze rivets, so they just tarnish, they never rust. And then the difference you get in a Bone Tactical sheath and a production sheath is just attention to detail. This is handmade and this is machine made, and you can tell that by looking at it, but this is not a bad sheath. It's actually a great sheath. So if you want a cool knife for a good price, this is cool. For a young guy, a kid maybe that's just getting into knives and is going to beat it up, not take a lot of good care of it, this is a great knife, I would say. Have fun with it, beat it up, and not worry about it too much. You can see just general fit and finish things that aren't great, and then I can tell, you know, really the steel doesn't seem, it's not very well sharpened. It's not, they don't, nothing is really straight or flush. The small details, right? But everything is workable, everything's usable. It's just tons of final details. It's like unfinished, right? And from there, it really just looks like a production blade, and that's the difference. But if you're not gonna really treasure something, then this would be a great blade to get, because you know, a blade like this, you don't want to beat up. You almost don't want to use it. It's so beautiful, so well balanced, feels so good in your hand. You know, I just love staring at mine and just looking at times and inspecting and seeing all of the, because the more you look at it and the more you see, the more detail jumps out at you. And like, how did, you know, how do we do that? And in my case, I'm looking at everything and thinking of the hours and hours and hours it took to make that handmade, you know, aspect, and to go through and make sure that that gap all the way around the handle scale is exactly right, and fitting it and taking it off and fitting it and taking it off, and that's just something that you'll never get out of a Chinese production knife. So let's continue on along here and see what we have in the next box. Okay. Oh, here we have a very good comparison with the bushcraft knife. So we've got a leather sheath here, and we've got what their version of a bushcraft knife is, and this is called a leaf. Now actually this, on the other hand, is pretty cool. This is very cool. It has wood. The wood is not, it has no chamfer, which is the first thing I don't like right away, but it is beautiful wood. It's beautiful wood. It's got bronze pins in there, so that's cool. The blade looks like it's actual genuine Damascus, which is really cool. It has a little bit of a better edge on it than the other knives do, than the other knife did, but still unsharpened. I would say this, at Bone Tactical, this would be the first edge we put on it, and we go 3 or 4 more times with finer and finer grit. It also has an angle that's a bit obtuse. It's too fat of a blade for a bushcraft knife, and then these actual leaf ridges here actually hurt the performance of the knife unless you really over exaggerate and put a much finer angle on here. So I definitely, for me to be able to use this as an effective bushcraft tool, I definitely have to resharpen it. The handle is very slick. There's no grip pattern, so it is dangerous to the end user because look, it's a very small handle. As soon as I put my hand on here, normally my finger's actually already touching the sharpened part. So really using this knife would be incredibly dangerous, but this knife is really cool looking because it's got the actual ridge pattern of the knife. The leaf pattern of the blade like actually is part of the blade. It's like cut into the blade, really cool. So, and it's also got like a feather on there. So maybe it's a feather instead of a leaf, but it looks like a leaf on the knife and a feather on the sheath. And the leather sheath is actually pretty dang good. The leather sheath actually looks great. I would say that it's real leather. It doesn't seem to be like the most crazy high quality leather in the world, but it actually really does look like a nice sheath. And you can see the size difference here between the Bone Tactical Bowie and the leaf here from Dispatch Knives, or the feather, or whatever it's called. Let's see if we got the part number is, let's see, DP9008-SW. So that's the leaf knife, if you want to look that up. But it's on their website. You can browse through Dispatch Knives and see this kind of stuff. Moving right along, I will talk about another blade here. Let's see. Oh, this in fact is a plier. So Dispatch Knives, they asked me what kind of stuff I wanted to review, and I only found a couple of their knives that even looked at all semi-interesting to me, and that was these. But their tools actually looked a lot more interesting to me because this is a pair of dikes, and it's got a really cool like injection molded handle on there, and it's just really, you know, it's got something like this. I don't necessarily want to buy a $300, you know, titanium handmade pliers. I have, you know, a set of Van Stalls for fishing, for example, but I don't want to buy a bunch of those. I want to be able to have ones that I use, especially with having like my apprentices using stuff. Right now we're building we have some construction projects going on, and guys cutting wire. I don't want to give those guys a good pair of pliers because they're not going to take care of them, right? They're not going to do the maintenance that I would use it and then maintain it. They'll just use it, toss it around, drop it in the concrete mix, something like that. So great option from those guys is affordable tools. So I really have, I kind of opened these boxes and did a brief look before the video because I was going to do these last Sunday, but I just had too much stuff to do. So I'm getting to it this Sunday. But basically the pliers are really cool. There's another set of pliers here that we'll get into in a minute that are even more cool. But I know you guys came for the knives. So right now I'm gonna do a compare and contrast on their karambit, versus my karambit, okay? Their karambit versus my karambit. My karambit is a little bit smaller overall, and theirs is a little bit larger overall. The sheaths are very similar. Retention's the same, except they have a tech lock for outside the waistband carry, which gets really bulky and kind of flaps around. And we have a Bone Tactical proprietary clip system for inside the waistband carry. So your belt naturally holds the karambit to your body, and you can actually carry it concealed with ours. Again, not sharp, sharpened on both sides with a very nasty looking serrations on top here. And then actually one of the few karambits I've seen, props to those guys, because a lot of people think that this is only a bottle opener on the Bone Tactical karambit here, but it's not. It's for hooking and trapping movements as well. Hook, trap, pull through, cut, right? These guys included a little section for hooking and trapping movements, so props to them. So hook, trap, pull through, and then go through and cut, right? Definitely needs to be sharpened. The Bone Tactical karambit is shaving sharp. Every one of our knives ships shaving sharp. Every one of our custom blades ships shaving sharp. These are not even close to shaving sharp. Incredible difference in sharpness. So I would have to sharpen this to even consider carrying it. But actually, this is a pretty great karambit. And this is what you would consider to be a traditional karambit because it's sharpened on both sides. And really, actually, the grip is incredible. This is just a very good karambit, and I'm actually blown away of how good this karambit is. Simply, the sheath is amazing, and the karambit is amazing, and that is something really I'm taken aback by how great this is. So, what you get with the Bone Tactical karambit is fit and finish, exotic wood species, a little bit smaller package, much more concealable and easier to carry. And a custom collector's item. What you get with the Dispatch karambit is a definitely 100% usable karambit, 100% Pentek Silat martial arts inspired. So this is able to be used. Oh, there's something else. So there is one major design flaw with this that I just found, and that is this section here. You need to have a reverse cutout behind the hole. As you see, this karambit does not. So the major design flaw on the Dispatch knives is that it does not have the bottom of the circle cut out. And what that is for when you flip out to the extended grip so that the karambit sits here and you can do the karambit double cut, which is a very common cutting technique. You cut once and twice with the same hand movement. Here with this one, if I make my fist, you can see the difference here. It stands straight up. It doesn't allow me to reach out and cut properly. Okay, so this one, the Bone Tactical karambit, I can come in here, throw out, come in here, and my karambit, it allows me with a move of the hand to cut once, cut twice on the pull through. This karambit, if I were to do that, I would miss the target because the blade is, I'm punching out and I miss the target. With the Bone Tactical karambit, I'm punching out and come through to the target, okay? With this one, it does not work because of one crucial design flaw. So that sucks because they had an amazing karambit with one small change. It would be a game changer for the price range because they're cheap. They're cheap blades, and I wouldn't mind personally having to resharpen my blade and in order to carry it, right? So the one thing is also with inferior production knives like these, where it comes to heat treat, basically inferior heat treating means that you probably don't want to use the knife. You just want to carry it, and it's going to be sharp always that first time. So that's another advantage to Bone Tactical knives, is you can use it and it's not going to dull it right away. It's going to take a lot of use, hard use. If you have to use it every once in a while, it's fine. Even if you don't have a chance to sharpen it up, it'll still be fine because they don't dull that easily because of the superior heat treat that we use in-house. So really cool plier here. It has removable tips on there. I'm pretty sure it's all aluminum. So this would be like a version of my Van Staal titanium ones that are like 300 bucks, like I said, but these are aluminum and like 30 bucks, I think less, a lot less actually. And they've got removable cutting teeth in there. They've got removable blade tips on there, and so it's just kind of cool. They being aluminum, and they work well, spring loaded. That's not something, you know, a knife might be something you have to depend your life on, right? Rely your life on. This tool, if it breaks, I'll get another one, I'll survive, right? So I do really think that these cheap tools are cool. I like them, and I wouldn't mind using them. This seems like a great fishing plier, and it looks cool, and it wouldn't look bad hanging from your boat or on your boat or stuck in the boat because it's anodized aluminum. It's not going to rust, all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of the general video there, guys. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. Questions and comments below. I'm probably going to tune out here. I will revise the messages, so I'll if you want to ask a question right now, I will answer one more question. I'm going to answer one more question, and then I'm going to cut the video. I hope you guys really enjoyed the knives. Let me see what we got going on here. Okay, Albin, Born Maker asked me what my thoughts on a Scandi knife on a Scandi grind on a survival knife. Actually, to not spoil the fun, I did a video on how to carry huge or large knives and discussed in detail a Scandi grind and a Scandi knife on there, so check out that video. And 76 Red Pills asked me to please make a knife sub 3 inches, which you know, actually our most popular knives are all sub 3-inch blades. The Tradecraft Kank, which we're sold out of right now, but I'll have more next week, is the most popular knife. Actually, I didn't even show you guys the Tradecraft Kank, so I'll show you that before I close out. Our absolute most popular knife I've ever made. I can't keep them in stock because it's the only handmade knife in the world at this level of effectiveness that is sub $200. I think it's like $139 right now. We're completely sold out, but I just finished, or I'm finishing a few of these. I'll be finished with them next week, and they'll be back up online next week, so stay tuned. They go very quickly, but this is just absolutely, this is something I've been working on for 10 years, trying to figure out a way to make a 100% custom knife that takes like 40 hours to make. I make them in lots, so it's hard to calculate how much it takes to make each an individual one. But it takes incredible amount of time to make. The fit and finish, everything's just, I mean, just beautiful. Even I do the camouflage myself, paint every single one. So, and have them under $200, it's just really amazing. And I'm working on trying to make more of them because they sell so fast. I just can't make enough. But talking about sub 3-inch knives, this is like a 2.75-inch blade, and it's just, I mean, it's a game changer. If you're gonna buy one knife, the Tradecraft Kank, if you can get one, because they're almost always sold out. But when I do drops, they sell out quickly, but I do a drop once a month. I make a lot a month. And it's hard to keep up with that, but sometimes a lot is 3 of them, sometimes a lot's 10 of them. Just depends how much time I can dedicate, but I do one production run a month, and then I put them up on the website. Those will be up on the website this coming Wednesday. So in like 3-4 days, something like that. Wednesday or Thursday at the latest, I would say. Thanks for watching, guys. Definitely stay tuned. Let me know what you want to see more of in the future. And here's a close-up detail of the knives. I'm just tossing my audio all over the place, but there's a detail of the knives. And here we go.